Y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, let's go.
All right. I got a few questions for you tonight. Who do you think in the S.E.C is on the hot seat right now?
I'll tell you who I think is on the hot seat. And it's not gonna be a popular answer, but it's gonna be one that's gonna get everybody's feather dry. It's gonna be Nick Saban, man, because you don't win a championship and you're out of Alabama. Georgia's getting him hot. That seat's getting a little hot down there in Tuscaloosa. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Those Bama fans ain't too happy with that. They ain't looking so good. They ain't where they were in 2012.
I agree with you. Mine, I would have to say, is Brian Harson from Auburn. He took a lot of heat there early for a little bit of at the start of last year. And I feel like that, if Auburn has a really bad year, I feel like the boosters are going to try to run him out. I mean, because they already don't like him anyways. So I mean that's just another reason to get rid of him. You get what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Uh, Let me think with another question. Oh yeah, what is your favorite S.E.C stadium,
My favorite SEC thing that I've been to or that I've looked at
or
pictures.
just like in general, like what's your favorite? Yeah.
My favorite SC stadium that I've ever been to is an undefeated Commonwealth Stadium. You know, I've also played or not Commonwealth State, Kroger Field. My fault.
Yeah.
I've also played a state championship on that one. So that's you gotta go hometown, baby. So
Well, I'm gonna go a different route here. I'm gonna say Tennessee.
real,
I like how it's laid out. It's really old. It's but the biggest thing with Tennessee's stadium and the way it's the parking, like you have to park plumb out in the middle of BFE,
oh
and
yeah,
you have to walk quite a bit of ways. Unless you're familiar with Tennessee. Now, if you're familiar and you've been there a while, you know where to go. But if you're a visitor and whatnot, you're in a screwed up place.
yeah, you know so well. All right, makes sense. Makes sense.
Let me think. There was another question I had. Who do you think's benefiting from the NIL right now?
I think the biggest benefit from the NIL right now is going to be the kids. But as far as a school, you're looking at teams that aren't really funded well. Does that make any sense? So your underfunded teams like Vanderbilt, if they can land a good prospect, they're
Mhm.
gonna have a good player who's not gonna need to go anywhere or transfer out because they're gonna be funded through unschool related facilities. Does that make any sense?
It does, and I feel like there's a couple teams. Well, even one team that's behind in it is Kentucky, like with the whole athletics director and Stoops, and I feel like they don't really understand what to do in certain instances, like how to approach it. But I feel like if Kentucky could get together with it, I feel like Kentucky could do really good.
Yeah.
Teams like Auburn, Texas A&M, they went full go this past recruiting cycle.
Yeah.
And even with the comments that Saban made to um, Jimbo Fisher in this past offseason, like I'm excited to see the fireworks when they play because I don't expect a handshake. I mean, I really don't
I don't either.
because I don't I don't expect him to say I expect him to say hello and hi, how are you, but I don't expect to see a big long conversation because they was some heated words in that little snippet of interviews that they had.
Right. Yeah. No, him and Jimbo have always been on eggshells, you know?
Always have been. Yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure. All right. Is that all you got for me?
That's all I got tonight.
All right. All right. You ready?
Yeah, man.
If you could be the head coach of any one football team, who would it be and why?
That's a toughie. Um, I don't really know to be honest, but if I had to pick a team that I would want to be at is LSU because you have all the resources there. LSU is a football state. LSU recruits a lot of good football players there. Like there's a lot of players in that backyard that, there's a lot of kids that left LSU when, even Orgeron was there.
Yeah.
And he could have kept some of them in his backyard.
Oh yeah.
And LSU is a hotbed for high school football. And if I was really wanting to be a head coach, I would be at LSU because look, you got Death Valley, one of the biggest places to play in college football. You got the band, you got the band screaming Nick at the end of the games and stuff.
Mhm.
Like you got all what you want, resources right there in Baton Rouge. And I feel like, being a coach of LSU would be a really top-notch job.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. What is the one change that you would make to college football if you had to, or do you love the game the way that it is currently, and there's nothing
Um,
to change?
I would change the targeting rules. There's a little bit on the targeting rules. I would switch it to, you hit a guy, you get a 15-yard penalty. Second time you hit a guy, you get ejected. I feel like you're hurting the players by ejecting them the first time because it's hard to play football with the way the game is played today. A lot of guys are hitting above, hitting below, and there's no really way, understandably, way to tackle anymore because everybody's coming for your head. And you got to know when to tackle, when not to tackle. And then there's some instances where if you hit above the head or below the head, you're still going to get a penalty somewhere. But I feel like, that would change the college game a little bit. It would help a little bit. And I feel like, even with the changes last year with the 2-point conversions and whatnot, after what was it, the fifth overtime or the fourth overtime?
Yeah,
I feel like that was a big change too, because it made the game go a little quicker because, when you have these regular overtimes where, you're trying to stop everybody, it could take all night. And
right.
we saw what happened with Texas A&M and LSU. But even then, that was still one of my favorite games of all time, 7 overtimes. Like, I'll never forget that game. That was wild.
Absolutely, yeah. One of my favorite games of all time is a basketball game. Syracuse went to like 6 overtimes. It's the best game ever. I was
Yeah,
kicking
it was a
late.
really good game.
All right. So my next question is who I know it's early, it's only July, about to be August, but who is the two teams that you'd have to pick to be in the S.E.C championship game if you had to pick today? Is it gonna be Georgia and Alabama again, or is it gonna be Alabama and somebody else, Georgia and somebody else?
Uh, I
Stamp on
got Georgia.
it.
I got Georgia and Alabama. I just think, Georgia and Alabama are on two different levels compared to everybody else. Now, if I had some sleepers, I would put Tennessee in that batch. I'd put Kentucky in that batch. I'd even go as far as saying South Carolina might come out of there. Look at Beamer. He's recruiting like a wild man on, in Columbia area. And then you got Arkansas, you got Texas A&M. But if I had to pick one team out of that West that could absolutely cause havoc, it would be Mississippi State because you got Will Rogers. He's one of the. If I'm gonna be honest with you,
Bad man.
Will Rogers is probably the second best quarterback in the S.E.C, in my opinion,
If not the first, buddy.
if not the first. But you got to give Bryce Young that edge because, Bryce Young's Bryce Young.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's go. Let's move on. So does a non-power five team make the playoff this year? Yes or no?
Uh,
Because we
no.
saw what happened with Cincinnati last year.
Yeah.
Saw what that dog sweep looked like. So they're gonna let somebody in.
Only team that I don't know. Only team that I could possibly see getting in there maybe is a team like somebody like Memphis, Houston. But you look at it from a talent perspective. Look at Cincinnati last year. They played Alabama decent. Or no, was it Alabama or Georgia?
It was Alabama.
It was Alabama. They played them good for a while, but then you saw the S.E.C talent take over in the third and fourth quarters.
Yeah.
It's just there's totally different talent compared to S.E.C to the group of five. It's just you just don't see it every day. And that's like I had a guy tell me yesterday about the Big Ten is on level with the S.E.C, and there's no way because what has the Big Ten won one championship in the last 10 years, maybe 5 years? And the SEC's had
Ohio State and 14.
I think they won one, and SEC's had 5 different teams win it in
Yeah.
the last so often. And SEC is just a different level. It's a different animal. When you come to SEC, you better be prepared to strap your jock strap up. Is all I can tell you.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. So here's a fun question for you. All right. We talked about Saban being on a hot seat. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mentioned that previously. So this is a fun question. All right. If you had to, if you had to put your house on it, who you putting your house on? Are you putting your house on Bama or the field?
Whew.
That's a good one, and you know it is.
It is. Right now, I'd have to say Bama because
Really?
I mean, unless you're looking at Georgia, I mean, there's not a lot of teams in that top five that could possibly beat Alabama. Maybe Ohio State, but we've all seen what happened when they played them. And I gotta go with Bama. Like,
Hey, now
it's,
don't undervalue Clemson. Now,
oh,
Dabo,
I'm not.
Dabo's there.
And Alabama, I looked at their roster today. They got 8 guys returned on defense. They got Bryce Young coming back.
Yes.
You know, they're going to be this probably be Alabama's best team they've had in a long time, maybe since Saban's been there. You know, they got the Gibbs kid from Georgia Tech. He's going to be really good. If I'm not mistaken, they got Eli Ricks from LSU, the cornerback. And I just think, you know, adding some of them transfer portal guys with what they already got, I don't know. I think Alabama will win it all again this year. And, you know, Georgia they'll play second this year. I don't think Georgia's going to repeat this year.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, repeating is hard in any sport, any level. You know. All right. So here we go. Here's another good one I got for you. Okay. If we had to, we love all of the SEC teams dearly. You know, they're all
Mhm.
special in our heart. We've all watched one game or another at some point that they've played good and made us fall in love with them. All right. But if we had to chop one, okay, if we had to make it an uneven conference, who would it be? Would it be Vandy? Are we just gonna throw Vandy to the wind like that? Because Vandy's played good ball. You know, Vandy's played good ball before. They have.
They've had good teams even when they had Franklin.
Right.
But if you're
They had
going
to
off of
let
it,
'em go.
if you're going off it right now, it would have to be Vanderbilt
You think you
because
get rid of Vandy?
I just
I'll tell you mine. I'll tell you who I'll get rid of. And they're a lot more prestigious than Vandy. Missouri. I could do without Mizzou. I never watched a Mizzou game 4 quarters and been in love the whole time. I can live without Mizzou.
I will say this about Missouri. I'll give them a little credit. Their stadium is really nice. It's a college town.
Oh yeah.
It's not the biggest stadium, but it's a really nice place to play a football game.
Oh yeah. All right. So here we go. We talked about getting rid of one. Okay. This is one of my favorite questions, and I kind of put it on Ball Down South yesterday. But who is one of the teams that we're an exclusive conference? We have an even number of teams, but if we could bring one in, who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be them boys up there in Morgantown, or is it gonna be somebody out in Ames, Iowa? Where are we gonna bring them in from?
I think bringing Clemson in here would be great for the conference. I think bringing a team like FSU into the conference because you got the whole Florida State rivalry. You got even with Clemson, you got the Clemson Alabama rivalry because they played in what I think 3 national championships.
Yeah, they made each other.
I think they play each other 2 or maybe 3, and maybe Miami. I mean, being they're from Florida and bring them in with Florida and Florida State, that would be a nice knockoff rivalry there. But other than that, I just don't see another team that could come in here and just really compete.
Right.
Like you bring West Virginia in here, I think they would be lucky to win 6-7 games a year.
Yeah.
I mean, just with how loaded the SEC is getting and how the SEC is getting better.
Hey, now don't rule them out because a long time ago, a lot of people don't remember this, but West Virginia used to be Alabama back in the day. Football helmets have progressed to about 16 different generations since, but West Virginia used to be Alabama back in the day.
They used to have Pat White and Steve Slate, and everybody don't remember them. They was really good.
Oh man, what was his name? Coach of Florida State used to coach there.
Uh,
He was coach. I'm blanking on it right now. Man, I'm blanking on it so bad, but
I forgot. I know who you're talking about. I just
you
can't
know
remember his
exactly
name.
what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Bowden.
Bobby Bowden, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there was another guy, Noel Devine. He
Yep.
played. What was the one guy? Played wide receiver, went to the Cowboys, played for the Rams for a while.
Randy Moss.
No, that was he played for Marshall, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
there was
Right.
another guy that I can't remember. My mind's went blank tonight, but he played for West Virginia. He has one of the best mixtapes I've ever seen on Twitter.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and I retweet it every time I try to see it. I can't, like I said, I'm drawing a blank tonight. If I remember, I'll let you know. I can't think when it's late.
That's all right. I think we're running out of time anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and end this, wrap it up, and I'll talk to you all later. So check it out. Ball Down South. We're starting this podcast soon. Take care, everybody. My boy Brad, my boy John, myself. Take care. We out.
Take care now.